take a few steps back and go back to 1999. Y2K, remember Y2K? Right? It wasn't enough for me just to solve, a century worth of crime. I needed to know from a back-end platform perspective how they did it. And DOUBLETAKE. I love the idioms and the double entendres that the Rockefellers put into this. But DOUBLETAKE for Windows was a specific network, NSI-based add-on. Yeah, continuous data availability to any documents and files that happen to be running this in the background. Now, if we read a little bit more about DOUBLETAKE, this basically the software can only be used on one version of the software can only be used on the server. What's really important about DOUBLETAKE is you acknowledge the software is subject to the export laws of the United States because it's using the software to extract information offshore. So that's important to note. This is an international-based networking software, okay? NSI and DOUBLETAKE are trademarks of Network Specialists Incorporated, but pretty much developed by Microsoft. What does it allow them to do? It allows them to extract files from any server where DOUBLETAKE for Windows is implemented. Yeah, where it's been installed. You hereby represent and warrant that you are not a citizen or resident of Cuba, Iraq, Libya, Sudan, North Korea, Iran, or Syria. And if a legal entity, oh my God, illegal with this software is so restricted, it's used to siphon and steal records that are going to be re-recorded by Standard Oil. NSI is all over this. DOUBLETAKE for Windows is a software that was created for one reason. Anywhere that this software was installed ahead of the turn of the century, it was essentially extracting all of the files from their network so that they could be re-recorded ahead of 9/11. Ahead of 9/11. Look, Tyson Foods is owned by Mattel. Isn't that crazy? Tyson used to be a roller bearing company and is very much involved in the plot. They were assuming farms under this basically trademark. I mean, the whole plot centered around hijacking U.S. agriculture, and boy, they did it. And then once they basically take over all the farms, they're fracking the hell out of them. And we should look to the 20s for more information as to how this is going to go. But Chalk-Made Farms chicken, it says it's inspected for freshness. This stuff isn't even real. It's so gross. It's so gross. But this really got kicked into motion right ahead of 9/11. But it's been since 2019 that they hijacked George Dunlop's estate. And they re-recorded his will to allow for hazardous waste dumping, biowarfare chemicals on U.S. farmland as research farms. And as much as my mom said, oh, that's ridiculous, that's just silly, it's recorded, and these people are terrorists. They planned 9/11 strategically. They reported people dying in 9/11 and changed their legal names ahead of time. This was a strategic plot, not just to slam, planes into buildings. They hijacked insurance companies, and the CIA reinstated more than 7,804 companies that have been federally canceled historically, one of them being the Union Bank and Trust. Another being Buckeye Steel Castings. These are Bush Incorporated Standard Oil entities. Halliburton was set up, DOUBLETAKE. Halliburton was set up as to triple dip. And Dick Cheney worked for Electronic Data Systems. He set up integrations for them, and they paid him while he was in office. The whole plot is predicated on getting so many people to be members that you can't charge everybody in the United States government as a terrorist, right? Well, we can clearly differentiate between the terrorists by seeing who's the facilitator. And George W. Bush and Richard Cheney and Kerry. These men were in office to carry out one plot, and it was not in the interest of United States citizens. Period.